Welcome back to the channel. We're down at our 3-acre property checking on our 52-foot greenhouse build. As you can see, it is just soaking us right now. Our weather has definitely turned for the worse. It is just gray skies and cold weather. We've getting 30s at night, 50s during the day. If we're lucky, today's about 50 degrees. So what I wanted to talk about is the structure shell we put around our greenhouse. You can see all of the framing all the way down, and we're going to use that in order to put our cattle panels over, like we talked about last time. We talked the price and how many cattle panels we're going to need. I just wanted to take a look at this. Try not to get rained on too much here. We've got all of the structure pretty well solidified. We're going to end up coming through and tacking some more bracing on each side here. Come over to the other side and show this. So let's head inside here. So since it's completely rained out outside, I wanted to show kind of what we're getting sprouted up in our greenhouse. This is our complete mixed lettuce bed. We had quite a few different lettuces, and we had a hot baking 2 weeks after we planted these. So we were kind of finding ways to keep moisture in. So I started using this brick and filling it up with water, and it's slowly soaking into the ground around it, allowing it to absorb more moisture and hold more moisture. So I'm going to kind of stick some bricks throughout this. Today we're not too worried about it, but when we get that hot baking sun, we really have no choice but to either throw a shade cloth up or keep this ground moist as possible, because the sun will dry it out, and when our windows open up, they will release all of the moisture that we have inside here. You can just see the crazy amount of condensation across this entire thing. We are holding a lot of moisture in here because both of our windows are closed. We had put our new actuator on this window, allowing it to open a pretty decent amount in order to get good ventilation blowing from our south to north or north to south windows here. Right now, these windows are not going to open. They probably will not open at all today unless I spend a lot of time in here and physically warm this up. We had a little bit of solar activity this morning, but not a whole lot. Just enough to raise the temperature in here, more than ambient temperature outside, definitely. Wanted to show this little bed. We've got a row of green beans that are slowly popping through the soil. All of our peas came up. We've had good success in here. All of these radishes seem to do very well. Didn't mind the hot temperatures and the dry soil because we were not able to come down here and water every day. And you can see this soil quality is not the best, but it's what we're starting to work with. We have a lot of rocks in it, and we are just going to slowly amend this over time with all of our compost, and it will slowly turn into very productive soil. It's very healthy now, but it's just what we had in place that was underneath a whole yard full of grass. So dealing with those hot temperatures and dry, arid conditions inside our greenhouse with all of our dry, dusty soil that we started with, that leads me to how we're going to use water inside this greenhouse. I am looking at solar banking some good water source here. I'm not sure what I'm going to use yet, but I'm going to dig this corner out and I will insulate it from the outside, so we will have a nice water bank, which we're going to use for our Gene Payne compost system that is in the back of this greenhouse. We've got our 55-gallon rain drum out there, which is collecting a ton of rain right now, but I would like to be able to bring it inside and fill it up once and be able to use that and use some type of solar pump that we have in order to pump the water up out of our 55-gallon drum or out of the ground and just slowly drip irrigation through this entire greenhouse. So I've been doing a ton of brainstorming, and I would appreciate any ideas that anybody has possibly for a drip irrigation system or a water collection system, because we are going to have several tanks throughout this greenhouse that will radiate water up out of the ground and solar bank all at the same time, because we want to keep the moisture levels up in here. I just wanted to share some of our progress and the things we're running into when we're first building this greenhouse. Since we do not have a shade cloth yet, I haven't purchased one, and I really won't need one now until next spring or next summer. So we're just kind of running with our 2 window actuators when it gets real hot and sunny out, and we're having to control that moisture content when it gets hot and sunny, because the shade cloth will also keep a lot of that heat out, keep it from vaporizing the moisture in the soil and letting it run right out of our windows. And I wanted to share the structure that we had built outside this greenhouse, because that is going to be very crucial for securing our cattle panels and then putting our second layer of poly on and being finished with the outside of this. I want to thank everybody for watching, and if anybody has any comments or concerns or ideas for me, please drop them in the comments below. I really like to be able to bounce ideas off of people and see things from a different perspective, because people watching my video might see something that I completely am overlooking. So I really appreciate the small community we have that helps me help myself build this self-sufficient greenhouse so we can provide food for ourselves all winter long.